Some people still trying to get it. Good. Hi, come on in. All right, we'll get back to it so you can work on that and we can talk at you as you're doing it. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about me. I'm Mindy Lasky. I am the principal here, and I am in my 32nd year. Did you just say, oh? Who said that? There'll be interaction during the night. Anyway, all in Lawrence Township. I was a teacher at the high school. I was a coach. I was a class advisor. I was the dean of students. I was the assistant principal at the high school. Then I came over here as assistant principal, and then I've been principal, I want to say since 2011. I think that's right. And prior to that, I like to say Trenton State. I'm old, but College of New Jersey. I'm a College of New Jersey grad, and I have my master's and my doctorate from Rider. And I'm a swimmer. That's what I coach. That's who I am. I'm doing swimming again. Some of you might see me. All right, we like swimmers. I'm teaching little ones now, again, because it brings me joy, and I just love being active in the pool. Come on in, don't be shy. My niece and nephew are down here. They live in Florida. This is an old picture. They're older now. They're in their 20s. And then this is my mother, niece, and nephew that are here in the district. And then I like to work out. I'm a burn boot camp girl. That's me at 5:15 in the morning. That's where I start my day. So it's a long day, but it's a great day. And this is our assistant principal. Let Adrienne introduce herself.
Hi, how are we doing? Thank you for coming out. So I see a lot of new faces, which we're really excited about. Just a little bit about me. So I'm also
Dr. Wasserstein, sorry, they can't hear us on the live stream. So they didn't hear.
Can you hear me? Thumbs up in the back? Awesome. So I've also been in district. This is my 14th year. I taught at the high school for about 12 years. This is my second year here at the middle school for administration. Really, a little bit about me. Where it all started for me was here at Lawrence. I'm a very proud alumni. So if you take a look, I'm very big with, knowledge being power. I take my academics very seriously, but it was really nice that I was fortunate to come back to a place where that love of learning started. Dr. Miloski, fun fact, was actually the cheerleading coach when I went in for my freshman tryout. And then I became the cheer coach when I became an employee, which is really cool. So we're coming full circle. I'm very happy to be here. When I'm not here, I'm a mom of two, so I wear many hats. I know some of us were joking, rushing here amongst all the chaos, but we're here. We're excited to be here. LMS is a really great place. We have lots of information that we're going to get into tonight, so I'm going to hand it back to Dr. Miloski. She's going to share some exciting news with you.
So this is a little bit of a brag. If you have not heard that the state, what they do is the NJDOE, we're number one, yes, the NJDOE gives you ratings, yeah. And it's based on growth and how much growth our students have had. So in the 22-23 school year, our kids came back and they came back strong. But that's also the main reason is because we have an amazing staff here that work tremendously hard with lots of care and love for your kids. And, I say love, we love them. When you're in middle school, they're prickly, right? But they are lovable. And so we are very proud of this recognition to be number one middle school with all the growth in our attendance and the work that we're doing in climate and culture in our building, and we're going to share that with you tonight. And hopefully keep this this going for us. So our mission statement, take a moment and read it, because I'm going to quiz you in a second. So take a moment and read it to yourselves. So we share this with you, and we share this with the kids at the beginning of the school year as well, and we go over this as a staff to make sure, like, are we still here? Is this what we care about? Are these things important? So what are some words that come out that are important to you that you see on the board here? Yeah. Perseverance. Why is that for you? Exactly, exactly. What were you going to say? Independent practice, right? We're going to ask your kids to do a lot of things on their own. Is that happening now for you guys at home? Kind of, right? But we're going to ask you to step a little bit away and watch, but also direct, right? Because we can't go far. You still got to be there. I saw a hand in the back. What was another word for you? Personal responsibility. You might have saw lots of, on your way in, the lost and found, right? Things are all, like they get, it's always, yeah, you're laughing. They think, they'll say that something got stolen. It wasn't. They left it somewhere. All right? So we talk a lot about social emotional growth. And taking personal responsibility is part of that. Anybody else want to say a word? Yeah. Individual differences. We have 600 kids that come into this building every single day, and close to 100 staff. And everybody's unique and special in their own way. And so we need to honor that. We need to celebrate it. We need to embrace it and love it. Right? We want kids to feel comfortable and have a sense of belonging in this building. And soon as they enter, they belong to something. And we're going to talk about that as we go this evening. A word for me up here, or words, are safe and nurturing environment. And so it's safe not only from the bad guys that are outside, right, and that are coming in, and that we do all the things to keep our kids safe physically in the building, but also safe to take risks and to make mistakes. There's going to be failures. That's okay. They're going to get in trouble. They might have their first detention. That's okay. All right, so we want to make sure that we are providing them with a safe place so that they can do all of the things that make them great. We want them to understand their greatness. So that's what we're fostering here. And then we want to nurture it. We want it to grow. So when they walk across the stage at Ryder, at the farewell ceremony, they're ready for high school, but more importantly, they're ready for beyond that. That's the main thing. We want them to be ready for life. Yeah. All right, so what you can expect from us is that we are a caring, student-centered environment. You already told you that we have an excellent faculty here. We have a challenging curriculum. You're going to hear from our instructional supervisors tonight what that curriculum consists of, what it looks like, what you should be expecting at home. There's going to be times that there's going to be arguing at your house. There's going to be times where there's going to be, you're pushing them out the door to get to school. And then there's going to be times where you're not talking, right? And that's going to come from the challenges that they're going to face. Open communication. Our doors are open. We are here. You're going to hear lots tonight about how you can get in touch with us, communicate with us. You're going to get lots. Hopefully, how many people got the phone dialer tonight? Good. How many people got the emails? Good. You're going to get newsletters, and we're going to show you where and you can follow us. Social emotional development, you're going to hear that as a thread. We really concentrate on the NJDOE social emotional competencies. We talk about relationships. We're not talking about necessarily boyfriend-girlfriend relationships or dating relationships. We're talking about relationships as friends, relationships with teachers, relationships with you as parents, and how we navigate those. Friendships are hard in middle school. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to be very direct with you. Sometimes that's good. Sometimes that comes across that it might be hurting your feelings. I don't mean to do that. But we do need to partner together. We are not going to be perfect. We are going to mess up. We're not going to be the best all the time. Yes, we're proud that we're number one, but we don't do everything right. Right? We're not perfect here, but we do come because we care. And so if we can meet at the middle of that as parents and as staff, then we're going to get somewhere, right? We're going to admit when we're wrong, and we're going to try to get better. But we need you to also keep us in check, and don't sit on stuff that's festering. Do not go to your computer and go on Facebook and blast us. That doesn't help us, right? It doesn't help with the situation that you're in. It doesn't help the situation that your child's in. You can blast me. I'm okay with it. We're gonna then meet and we're gonna have conversation. But to just, when something, most likely it's just miscommunication or you didn't know. So we need to be kinder and gentler to each other because as I said, we have a really good staff that's working hard and we need to treat them with respect and kindness as well. All right, moving on. So these are the social emotional competencies that you see throughout our curriculum. We're talking about social awareness, self-awareness, self-management. We talked about relationship skills, and then that responsible decision-making. Right? Some of these things we struggle with. So kids, we have to talk to them about showering. Right? Those are things that happen for middle school. Making the time to get up, eating breakfast, making sure that they know where the homework is. Make sure that once they have the homework, that they actually hand it in. Right? Because that happens. They did it all, but they didn't hand it in. So those things happen. So we talk a lot about what that looks like, what it feels like, what kids need to do in terms of the self-awareness. That's lots of conversations that Dr. Wasserly even has with students when they've done things that may not be the best versions of themselves, right? So when they're having a meeting because they might not have done something that was kind or following the cardinal code, we talk about that self-awareness piece. What could they have done differently? How can they reflect? What were they thinking in the moment? What could have been different? So it's a conversation. It's not just we just give it detentions out. All right, it's a conversation. It's a growth moment there. All right. So some things for you. We want you to show interest, but we want you to encourage independence. You should not be doing their homework. You can help them with their work. You can help them study. All right, but you want to also encourage them to write the email to the staff. Look at it before, hit send, right? But you want to make sure that you're really helping with that independent piece and setting them up for success. What's the structure that you have at home? Are they going to bed at a regular time? Are they sleeping with their cell phones? Either in their bed or in their bedroom. Are you taking them? You should. You can tell them that Dr. Mlaski just told you that you're supposed to take their cell phones at night. I've given you all permission. I will take the responsibility. There you go. Magic wand, done. They should not have their laptops in their bedrooms at night either. All right, so take away the iPads. Take away, whatever the electronics are in the bedroom shouldn't be happening. And at a certain point at night, you gotta take it, or just turn off the house, right? I know some of you are really good at that kind of stuff. So if you can do it, turn off the internet, everybody goes to bed and gets a good night's sleep. Sleep is so important. It is so important. All right, don't rescue your child from the natural consequences. What does that mean? Yeah. So if something happens that is not right, it's always, well, that was self-defense. Okay, so it's usually not. And when we have the conversations, it's usually two-sided. Something's happened prior to any kind of situation that's happened. Okay? So there's going to be times, again, we're not going to get it right. We can't be everywhere all the time. So that's why we interview people, that's why we have cameras, that's why we have conversations, that's why 32 years of experience comes in handy, because kids don't tell the truth all the time. And they don't tell the truth because sometimes we just don't ask the right questions. So I haven't asked the very specific question, and so I didn't get the answer, but they were lying because I didn't ask the right question. So it takes some time sometimes for us to get to the real truth. We get to partial truth, but we sometimes don't get to real truth. And so there's consequences for not telling the truth, right? There's consequences for not doing your homework. There's consequences for not coming to school. So all those things are in the handbook. You can review them. We talk about what that looks like, what our expectations of behavior are in school with kids as well, obviously. I already talked about monitoring technology, so you know what to do. You've got your permission slips to go home. And then the other thing is, look for the greatness. Give the praise. Give the hugs. Right? They're like, oh, don't touch me. Do it anyway. Right? Give them the kiss goodbye before school. When you're dropping them off, we love seeing it on Princeton Pike. When they get out of the car, good squeeze. You know, bye mom, bye dad, whoever. Just, there should be lots of love, and we should praise when they're doing things right. Because when they get the praise for doing things right, they're gonna wanna keep doing it. If we keep harping on the negatives, right, then the listening goes off, and they're not gonna listen anymore. So let's praise all of their greatness. Let's celebrate it when we see it, and look for it. Right? If they've made improvements, you know, if they're struggling academically, but then, you know, they've gotten their grades up just a little bit. Let's praise that. Let's notice it. All right. So some quick facts about us. 2 quick years. It is 2 fast years, 7th and 8th grade. We have about 600 kids in the building. We have a house system. So you're going to hear about all of the house system that we have, Phoenix, Draco, and Orion. We teach math, science, social studies, all the things. We teach art, communications, technology, world language exploration for our 7th graders. In 8th grade, they can take Chinese, French, or Spanish. Everybody's got to take health and PE. They will need to take that until they graduate high school. Health and PE is a graduation requirement. We have instrumental and musical groups. We have the gifted and talented. We have team activities. We have 2 school counselors. We have 3 child study team members. 2 school psychologists, 1 social worker, and we also have a mental health therapist here at the middle school. We have ESL, and we have everything special ed and more. And we have fun, right? If school's not fun, you don't want to come to school. So we have lots of fun. Next up. So this is how you can get connected to us. Everything is LMS Nation. So Facebook is LMS Nation, Instagram is LMS Nation, Twitter or X is LMS Nation. We focus Instagram for kids, Facebook for parents, Twitter mostly to just brag about how great our school is to anybody in the world that wants to know. So you're also going to get the quick news. That's my plug for Mrs. Baldessari. There she is. She does the quick news in her office from the district. So you'll want all of that. You're going to get talking points. Some of your teachers will use talking points. How many people use talking points right now? Great. So you might have communication back and forth with the teacher. You may get some stuff from us directly to you. So talking points, Google Classroom. Who knows what Google Classroom is? Who's it for? Kids, right? Google Classroom's for kids. What's Genesis for? Yeah, for you. That's where you go on and check grades, you check attendance. Sometimes you might see assignments there, things that are incomplete. I just heard someone just say they do it every day. That's a no-no. This is what happens when you sit in the front. I can hear you. I can probably hear you in the back. Do not check it every day. I also can see if you're checking it every day. So if you don't want me to think you're crazy, then don't do it. Why do I say that? Why do I say don't check Genesis every day? What's the danger of it? You already do it, so I'm not going to answer you. Obsess over every grade, right? You're not looking for the good. You're looking for all the other stuff, right? You're not looking for the good. So either you're going to go cray-cray, you're going to make your kid crazy, don't do it. You can check once a week, right? Make it a routine with your child. Have them open it up. You look together. You talk about it. The other thing that's dangerous is it is a live grade book. So some teachers are really ahead of the game. There you go. They're stars right here. Some teachers will grade, have a pile, wait 3 weeks. You know, they graded it, they've given it back, but they haven't posted it. That will make you nuts, right, ladies? These two will make them nuts. So it's live. The other thing is if they posted grades for the entire semester and it's not there, maybe they clicked something wrong, it may show that your child has an F. And they don't. Because the grade book is live and it might have just been a wrong click of something. Okay? So don't go crazy. I'm going to get your names after this and I'm going to be monitoring your Genesis. And I'm not doing it every day though. But in all seriousness, you really just once a week, you're going to check it. You want to check it together. Make it a routine, okay? So that's the difference between Google Classroom and Genesis. Obviously, the website has lots of information. You'll get alert nows, where you'll get phone calls and things like that, but this is how you keep in touch with us, all right? All right.
All right, so like Dr. Mulaski said, we like to catch our kids doing great things, okay? One of the things that we really emphasize, especially at our student orientation, which is at the end of August, we stress our cardinal code. Okay, and that means being respectful, being ready, and responsible, those three things. One of the things that we do, like, so for instance, the other day I'm leaving the cafeteria, a young student drops his pencil case, pencils everywhere, papers everywhere. Have a handful of students who were kind enough to stop what they were doing and help that student up. We recognize students for being respectful and responsible and just being kind to one another. So we would issue them what's called a STAR ticket. Okay, so I have some head nods. So I have some students who might be in the building right now or in the past. And at the end of each week, okay, we have a big bin. And throughout the week, students will put their STAR ticket in the bin. At the end of the week, we like to celebrate and we recognize those students. We have prizes that we give away, whether it be apparel, pretzels, donuts, what have you, but we call out their names and we recognize them over our PA system, and we catch them for being good. So that's really important. We want to build our kids up. Again, more often than not, if you receive a phone call from me, since I oversee discipline, again, kids are going to make mistakes. This is the time of their life they're going to do that, Mom and Dad. But one of the most important things is that we help them learn and do better, so they're not making the same mistakes every time. All right, so the parent and me, we want to guide our students in the right direction, okay? We got to work together. We don't always get it right, but we'll figure it out. All right, so that's our cardinal code. All right, so one of the things you hear Dr. Molaski saying, I know, all right, just get it out of your system. Take it in. I see the phone's going up, go ahead.
Go to bed early.
All right, maybe it's the health educator in the both of us, okay? We really do take very seriously how we take care of our bodies. First and foremost, how we are sleeping, getting enough sleep at night, how we're fueling our bodies, what are we putting into it, all right? What it comes back to is routine, all right? Healthy habits don't just come overnight, right? So we have to start that now. Okay, get that consistent bedtime, even on the weekends. It's okay to take your time. That's what the weekends are for, to shut down a little bit, recharge your batteries, but try to keep that sleeping pattern consistent as possible, because that's something, not just here, when they get to the high school and beyond, that's going to help them out tremendously, all right? That self-discipline. So consistent sleep, getting here on time. Our building opens up at 7:20. We'll start letting students in the building. Okay, and our student orientation will go over what that looks like more specifically.
One thing that I want to let you know is we don't have after-school care, right? So they're in middle school.
So if they walk home. So we do a gradual release of letting kids out. We let the bus kids out first. Everybody goes out door number 1. So the thing that you had to do tonight was figure out where to park. Some of you parked in the back, some of you parked in the main parking lot. The main parking lot is where to park. And everybody always comes in door 1. So if you're going to be in the play, you're coming here for concerts, all of that, door 1. We use door 10, which is the back parking lot, for athletic events. And when you're coming to pick up your child in the evening. We have a late bus at 4 o'clock. That doesn't help kids that are in athletics. Athletics goes to 4:35. If there's games, like our baseball team still was not back at the start of this meeting tonight. So away games can go later. Obviously even home games can go later, but even away games are going to go even later. So you need to plan for that. If you need help with carpooling and things like that, that's where the coaches come in, that's where we come in, that's where the counselors come in. We can help you. But everything else, 2:25, they're heading home. They're going to tell you that they want to go to Varsity Pizza. I say that loud. Or they want to go to Dunkin'. What's going to be your answer? Good. Again. I'm sorry, Varsity. I love them. They have great pizzas. They have great salad. You can go there as a family. But you do not want to go there on Friday at 2:30. All right? That's where it's not that it's bad stuff, but bad things can go wrong. Okay? That's where they're not necessarily making good decisions. All right? And so that happens on Friday. Over the weekend, we get an email, maybe from you, maybe from a kid, and then Monday, we're investigating. Something that didn't even happen at school. All right? So know where your kids are and what they're doing at night, and if they're telling you that they're going to someone's house, again, make sure that there's a parent or an adult there, right? So that's important. And because at the end of the day, it's hard to navigate. We do have activities that kids can stay after for. We have lots of clubs and activities which we'll go over, and they can take the 4 o'clock late bus for that. But if it's athletics, the 4 o'clock late bus is not going to be late enough for them. Okay. All right, so let's go house structure. We have the House of Orion, the House of Draco, House of Phoenix. They're not legacy houses. How many of you have been through the middle school before? Your children have been through the middle school before? All right, so you might be like, but I really want them to be on Phoenix. All right, and I'm going to tell you no. What happens is you can ask and say that you request to be with either kids or other students and so forth. I may or may not honor that. And the reason being is that you give me a list and you tell me you want to be with so-and-so, and they give me a list and they don't want their child with your child. But you don't know that because they're afraid to tell you that, but they told me that, and now I'm the keeper of your secret. I don't like that. So you might think it's great and you want to be with Adrienne because she's so studious and she's so kind and wonderful, but Adrienne doesn't necessarily, is not friends or doesn't want to be with that other student. So we go over, we have meetings with LIS, with the school counselor, we have meetings with Dr. Fisher, I do all of the scheduling. So I look at every data point that I can look at, also with our supervisors. And we look at your child academically, we look at your child socially, we also take in the emotional piece, right? We talk to different people. You can reach out to me and have a conversation about if they're anxious and they just need one friend. Just know that one friend may be on the house, but they might not have class with them. There's about 100 kids on each house. They stay on the house for 2 years. There is not a band house, there's not an orchestra house, there's not a chorus house. There's houses for everybody's on every house. Special ed's on every house, English as a second language is on every house. All right, so there's opportunities for all of those things. We will be having, last summer we opened up the entire summer and we met with any 7th grade parent that wanted to come in with their child and met with one of us or both of us, and then we had parents also meet with our front office staff so that you know how to ring the bell and how to enter. It sounds so simple, right? But for some reason everyone just stands at the door and it's going to magically open. Now I'm really cracking myself up, sorry. So anyway, we have you meet if you want to meet in the summer, and that's where we can kind of talk about the type of teacher that your child is best suited with. We try, we know, all about middle school and all about middle school teachers, and so there's not one house that's harder than the other. Don't listen to your neighbors. Your child is an individual. You are individuals. What works for one kid may not work for you. All right? So don't get caught up in the rumors. Don't think one house is better than the other house. If we gave you the list of all of the houses and when the house champion, the house cup, you'll see that it's been different for each year. All right? So don't get caught up in that because we really look to see what's the best fit. And we'll have those conversations. That'll come out. The schedule for that to sign up will come out in June. So if you would like to have those meetings, that's when we will have those conversations. Or if you can't make any of those, you can just shoot me an email. We can talk on the phone, or in the email, you can give me your request. But just know it may or may not be honored, depending on what you're asking. Okay? All right, so that's the house. Those are our house leaders. And then our team. So not here tonight is our Director of Athletics, Mr. Amrata. He is the athletic director from now to high school, so anything that has to do with athletics is Mr. Amrata. Ms. Philmeyer is our Director of Student Counseling and Student Supports. She's actually the Director. Did I say Supervisor or did I say Director? Her new title is Director. And again, she will be with you all the way until graduation, so you know, anything that we need to go above and beyond, she's the one that we go to. And then who is here tonight is Nicole Sasse, who is our supervisor of special education, grades 7 through graduation. And so graduation can be beyond the 4 years of high school, depending on your students' needs. And then here tonight with us is our instructional supervisors, Ms. Foster and Dr. Pankos, and I'll let them talk to you about their new roles. Both of them have been in the district, but their roles have changed in terms of the departments now that they oversee. So we're a smaller admin team than we've been in the past, but we're a tight-knit group. So I'm going to turn it over. I think Sarah's first.
We actually bounce around a lot, and we thought about using 2 microphones, but I want to be really mindful about not creating that awesome feedback sound. So we might just flip the mic back and forth. If you go back 1 slide, Dr. Wasserleben, we have rehearsed this because our departments that we oversee are expanding. So we kind of pick up from 7th grade all the way through 12th grade now in instruction. And if you can calculate it, invent it, hypothesize about it, perform it, or create it, I probably oversee the curriculum for it.
And I'm Dr. Pankos. And if you're reading it, writing it, speaking it, researching it, selling it, acting it, eating it, or working it out, that's mine. All right, so as Dr. Nowosky mentioned, we've been here in the district for a little bit. I've been here for 8 years. Love being here. Oh my gosh, that is kind of loud. I'm just gonna, yeah, I know. You got the quiet mic, I got the loud mic. But if you turn to the next slide, you see us. Look at that with the cardinal. Got a little cardinal pride over there. You will see both me and Ms. Foster from now until graduation. So it's going to be a very, very fun time. So let's talk about the English department. So we have over here 7th grade and 8th grade, as well as English as Second Language program. So the English as Second Language program, I'll start on that side first. We take a test every year, and when you register for school, determine if you put a language down other than English, you will get your records reviewed, and you might get tested for our English as a Second Language services. If you put your language down, a language other than English, and you indicate that's your language of communication, you will get your talking points messages sent to you in that language as well. You can see our units of study for both 7th and 8th grade. So from here on out in 7th grade all the way up through 12th grade, we have fun units of study, and we try to balance contemporary with classic. So you might see a book that you read when you were in middle school, like Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury, good one, classic, in our science fiction unit, balanced out with something that is new that you haven't read yet. Please read that with your child. It's a great time for you and your child to have a conversation about some of the themes in these books. We really want to start with science fiction and fantasy and dystopia at this level because they give students a safe place to kind of explore the world around them and kind of make connections with those worlds without actually criticizing the world that they live in now. We also have for 7th grade our Writing 2.0 course. We started this course a little bit ago. We cover nonfiction writing in that course. We try to make that not a research-based course, but more of a course about how you would actually use writing in the real world. We have received a grant from the LTEF for cookbooks, so the kids are creating cookbooks this year. So that does go along with their little narrative writing, so they're writing stories about some of the foods that they eat, interviewing family members about that, and doing a little how to make whatever the dish is. So we try to make it relevant to their lives, but still practice those writing skills. In 8th grade, our students will have communication skills. We have a whole class where the students do interpersonal communication, and they'll practice introducing themselves to an adult. They'll warm up for the interview day. We will ask members of the community to come in, and you can interview our students. They do a really great job. It's a competition. And we have a nonfiction analysis course. And we put that course in 8th grade to really help our students get a firm basis on annotating nonfiction work. As we get more and more into the higher grade levels, students will encounter more nonfiction. The only place that they will really deal with fiction is their English class. But all of the other classes have that component of nonfiction to it, and we want our students to be able to be good consumers of information. So we have that course there to really strengthen their skills. We're going to talk about math now. Go ahead, Ms. Foster.
Okay, so all of the information you see here is also on our district website, so you don't have to rush to take a picture unless you want it handy. In 7th and 8th grade math, our students continue on 2 different pathways, and I call them pathways because they can hop to whatever they are ready for based on the achievement and growth that we're seeing within their classes. So the on grade level course sequence is if you're in 6th grade, you're taking Math 6. Then Math 7, then Math 8 in 8th grade. That's considered an on grade level pathway. We also offer an accelerated curriculum that began in 6th grade with Math 6 accelerated, goes on to Math 7 accelerated, and then Algebra 1, which is the equivalent to, but not credit for, our high school Algebra 1 course. Down below in that chart there, you can see that students can go from different pathways. So we have students that can go from Math 6 to Math 7 accelerated. Middle school math content gets more complex. They're really building their foundation right now in 6th grade to continue on to pre-algebra and algebraic concepts, where you're going to start seeing letters and numbers together. And that can throw kids for a little bit of a loop when they start making that more abstract transition in math. One of the things that we really want to make sure of is kids show readiness in different ages. So just because your student might not be ready for more advanced concepts in 6th grade doesn't necessarily mean they won't be ready in 7th grade. Sometimes they're not ready until high school, and we want to make sure that we're setting students up to push themselves while also meeting them where they're at, because we don't want to push them so far beyond their capabilities where they're not going to be successful. So I want to ask all of you, how many of you are math people? Every single hand should go up. One of the things that our curriculum really stresses in math is that everyone can be a math person. They might just represent these concepts in different ways. So I was an art teacher for years and years at the middle school level. I might have a more visual way of showing mathematical concepts because that's where my interests lie. And that might be how I show my strengths in math. One of the things that you can do to support your child at home is make sure you're messaging that for your student. So our kids are exploring so much of who they are as people at the middle school level, and part of that identity is who they are, in math. I don't think that's made happen, sorry. I tried really hard not to have the feedback. So we want to make sure we're really nurturing that math identity. Be mindful if you share with your student that math was hard for you. Talk about the successes and talk about how you persevered through those challenges, because one of the things we want to do is really grow their mental and critical thinking endurance. As they get through algebra and higher math up at the high school, we want them to be able to really critically think and reason. And ultimately, it is one of the things that the state assessment will assess them on. So we really want to push that we can do it. Sometimes we have to try different approaches. Sometimes you might have to share with your child, what do you notice about this problem and what does that tell you? So even though you might not necessarily know how to do step-by-step what they're doing, you can still help them with that homework at home by asking, what do you notice about this? What questions do you have about it? What is it really asking you in this problem? We also offer in 8th grade for all students a financial literacy elective, which is a semester-based course. This is the class that we all wish we had in school. It really teaches them about budgeting. It also teaches them about responsible decision making. And it takes that financial lens, but it really has the overarching skills and traits that our kids desperately need as middle schoolers, as their brain is just, going crazy with all of this different development and changes in their lives. Go ahead. In this summer, on the district webpage, you may have noticed last year when you were, still at LIS, we do collect summer resources as enrichment. There is no required math packet, but it does have collections of activities that you can do at home with your child to really have that extended practice. Our platforms and the things that we use instructionally also have things that you can do at home for your student to really extend.
And I'll add to that, just read. Read with your child, have your child read something that he or she is interested in. We want them to just keep reading. At this level, we're starting to figure out what we like and what we don't like, and where we might want to go in a career and what we want to study. Encourage those kinds of nonfiction books. Our social studies department is fantastic. So in 7th grade, we are state mandated to teach civics. So we'll be teaching civics.
Not me.
It's you. It's this one. It's the wireless mic.
It's me? All right. Yes. All right, so we're state mandated to teach civics. Those are from the state mandate, what we do. The role of citizen. This is especially important this fall. We have a general election coming up. We have to present all sides. We will adhere to the state mandates for what they expect out of our curriculum. However you feel about political issues in your household, this is the time to have a conversation with your child and tell them this is what we believe in this house, and this is how we vote. From there, we go into the rest of American history. We do it thematically here at the middle school. So you're not going to see us marching chronologically, starting with the indigenous people and ending at 1865. You will see us making connections from those events which are in the standards to events that happen throughout time in American history, up to and including current events. In 8th grade, we do it more geographically based. We want to make sure that we cover pretty much everything in world history. This is the precursor class to 9th grade's modern world civilizations class. So we want to give our students a really fair and balanced idea of what was going on in the world before they get to the graduation requirement and set them up strong for that graduation requirement in 9th grade.
So back to science, so we're in the STEM fields again. We're actually changing our programming, and our teachers in grades 6, 7, and 8 are starting to pilot some of these units. Traditionally, in what your 6th graders are experiencing right now in science is an earth science curriculum. Typically, we would have went to physical and life science in each consecutive year. Next year, we'll begin to integrate. And what does that mean is that in 7th grade, we're really starting off the year with physical and life science and integrating them into the core ideas that your students have learned in earth science, taking it to the next level. So your students are really learning how to think, how to explore, how to write, how to make claims like scientists. And we wanted them to start connecting the big ideas across each of the earth, life, and physical science disciplines and really start to create engineering solutions to problems. So they learn the content that they need to know to be able to support the claims with evidence that they're creating in class. And then they start thinking about, what does this look like in my world? And how might I propose a solution or an innovation or a change to really address what this looks like right now and what it could look like in the future? We really have our students take a lot of ownership in this process. We really try again to push their critical thinking and really bring in some of their creativity too, because there's so many different perspectives and ideas that they can flourish in science. One kind of happy outcome of this, although it wasn't our intention, is it better prepares the students for the 8th grade NJSLA science test, which tests them on 3 years of science concepts. And what we found was typically whatever they took in 8th grade, they did the best on, which makes sense. So now kids are really building the foundation in 6th grade in all of the science disciplines, growing them in 7th, and really truly developing them in 8th grade to be prepared for high school and beyond. So these are some of the units. I know it looks like 7th grade has more, but there are 5 in each. And through each unit, there's going to be a design and engineering component to really round out their scientific experiences in those core ideas in earth, life, and physical science.
Miss Foster. So in 7th grade, we have world language exploration. We have 3 world language teachers here. I am so sorry. I'm just going to put it back there, maybe here. We have 3 world language teachers here. We have a teacher of Mandarin Chinese, a teacher of French, and a teacher of Spanish. The students will have these teachers teach them about geography and cities, holidays and traditions, and food and healthy living. So the 7th grade course is kind of a survey course, and it gets the students interested in kind of, you know, what are you going to take in 8th grade? In 8th grade, you can take French 1, Mandarin Chinese 1, or Spanish 1. This is the exact same curriculum that they have in the high school for those same level courses. The idea is to get your students a pathway to get to either AP French, AP Mandarin Chinese, or AP Spanish. If you are a native or heritage speaker of any one of these languages, we do have paths to acceleration when you get up to the high school, and we'll give you more information about that when you're at the high school for the Welcome to High School presentation. But yes, for 8th grade, you choose the one. If you're not happy with the one, you stick it out for a year and you choose a different language for your graduation requirement at the high school. So that's where we are with that.
Okay, so my educational philosophy is truly whole child, and my job kind of reflects that because I am working with both lobes of my brain. Now we're getting into the more creative side and really talking about our visual, performing, and practical arts offering. We are really thrilled to share about our robust visual performing arts program and the different electives and areas that our students take that kind of get more on the creative side. We do offer visual arts for both grade levels. In technology classes, we have kids working on inventions and drones and TV production. We offer chorus, musical theater, concert band for instrumental. Kids who are not currently playing an instrument can join and start to learn in 7th grade. We offer a jazz band and an orchestra. What's nice about how our music classes are scheduled is students are not being pulled from academics or other courses to take lessons. We have a nice long block schedule so that kids can really get that experience within the class for music. And students who are in chorus can also take band or orchestra, so they don't have to necessarily choose singing or instrumental. They can be in both and take part of both.
So I just want to talk a little bit about music for 1 second. In 7th grade, if they are going to be in band or orchestra, they will not have writing class. They have English, they won't have writing class. So you heard what the writing was. And then in the 8th grade year, they will not have art or communications or technology
or our Cardinal Time class, which is a character ed class, if they're in band, orchestra, musical theater, or jazz band. Ms. Foster just said they can take one of the instrumentals and chorus. You cannot take one of the instrumentals, music theater, and chorus. You can't be a music major here at the middle school, but you can take 2, not 3, if that makes sense. And only musical theater is for the 8th graders. The other thing too is going back to world language. We're going to be in the process in the next week or so for our 8th graders our 7th graders to select their world language. They're going to have to take a first choice and a second choice. They may not get their first choice. All right, it depends on what other needs they have, how many kids are taking it. We only have 1 French teacher, 1 Chinese teacher, and 1 Spanish teacher. And they can only have so many students, okay? So depending on how their schedule looks, they may get their second choice. This is something they're gonna have to learn along the way for high school because they're not gonna get their first choices for all of their electives there as well. We will be putting out to you, those students that want to take orchestra or concert band, jazz band, and chorus, you will be signing up in Genesis. So I'll be sending out a video to you with directions, how to do it. You'll go into Genesis under the course selection. There'll be a bunch of choices and you'll be able to sign up. Now probably those of you that are in the orchestra, Mrs. Clark is really on it and she probably has a list already and she's gonna send me that list so I can double check. And then the same thing for Miss Ploner, she probably has a list for me for chorus. We do not have an advanced chorus. All right, you're in 7th grade chorus or 8th grade chorus. We don't have advanced chorus.
Yeah.
Could you repeat what you said about if they take band and chorus, they could take writing? What did you say?
So in 7th grade, if they're taking band or orchestra, they will not have the writing class. It'll be in place of their writing class.
All right, switching gears a little bit. So as Dr. Woloski said earlier, from here on out, health and physical education will be required each year. It is a graduation requirement when they get to the high school level. This is a snapshot of the topics that will be covered in the health curriculum, as well as physical education. You know, PE in general, it's a very unique setting, right? We're practicing our social emotional competency skills that we discussed earlier. One of the things I will definitely stress is we have a phenomenal health and phys ed department, both here at the nation and at the high school. It's not uncommon if you were to walk into a class here, okay, just for instance today they're doing badminton, and you may see 2 different tournaments going on, okay? Sometimes it really is dependent upon the student. We have some with that competitive edge, all right? We have 1 separate tournament and some who just want to do it recreationally, just for the fun of the game. So they do it off, you know, one by skill, but also their comfort level. So that's going to vary from student to student. But our department does a really great job making that atmosphere safe and nurturing, going back to our mission statement. So that's something that's very important to us. Okay. Athletics, all right? Because we have a safe and nurturing environment, we want to encourage our students to take risks, right? Academically, socially, right? That may be auditioning for the school musical that we have every winter or every spring, okay? But also might be athletics too, all right? The good news is there's something for everybody to do, all right? In the fall, in the next slide actually, you'll see what we do offer here at the middle school. And you actually go back to the previous slide. I'm sorry, I'm jumping around on you. Okay. The most important thing, regardless of what your child chooses, there's 3 things that are really important for them to do. 1, in order to get cleared, they have to start the registration process, okay? That can all be accessed on our LMS website, athletic webpage. That is electronically, all right? So there's registration that needs to be done, a physical, okay? Every physical is good for 365 days. If they're doing a sport in the fall and interested in doing one in the winter or the spring, they would still need to complete either a physical or an update form, all right? It'll be one of the two. And then lastly, they'll do impact testing. That's something that is also done at the high school. When they're here at the middle school, they only have to do it one time in their middle school career. So there's the registration, the physical or the update, and then the impact test, all right? Your child will not be cleared, okay, unless it's signed off by our school doctor. So even though you're taking them to your own pediatrician to get their physical, it needs to be signed off by our doctor. So as we get closer to the start of the school year, this is a tentative date of September 11th. So once our school's in session, usually is about a week or so after, where we would start up our fall athletics. All right? Question, go ahead. Yeah, so the question was, is there anything where the sports conflict with other clubs, organization, you know, what we offer? Yes. So we do have a lot to offer, which is a great thing, but it can also be overwhelming. This is where we want to, you know, have our child really start to make that decision what they're going to pursue. But the nice thing is, if they do athletics, you know, sport in the fall, winter, spring, they can always do one of the clubs or organizations at other points of the school year.
It depends on the activity, right? If you want to be in student council, but you want to play soccer, you can do that.
Right.
But if you want to be in the school play and be on the basketball team or the cheerleading team, you're not going to be able to do that. Okay? It really depends on the situation. And the reason being is for athletics, we're competing against Mercer County schools.
Yeah.
So you're committed. And in some sports, there is cuts. In other sports, there's not, right? Only 5 people play on the basketball team at a time, so there's cuts when 60 kids go out. So that's something to think about in terms of making your choices on the activities that you want to be in. We try to get you know, as many kids involved as possible, and Dr. Rosling will talk to you about the sports and then the intramurals.
So intramurals, go ahead, I'm sorry. Yes. Yes. Yes, we have a school doctor. So the question was, just for clarification, you need to take your child to your pediatrician for a physical, and then it gets signed off by our doctor. Yes, yep. So once you get that paperwork submitted to our school nurse, she'll have that completed by our school doctor. Okay, all good questions. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. It really does depend, again, on the timing of it. So typically with track in the spring, the nice thing about track is that it usually starts a little later because there is not a cut. So that looks a little bit different. So that would be the only exception. If they're starting at the same time and the tryout has already gone through, that wouldn't be an option. Okay? Yes? Tryouts would be after that date. So all,
In
yeah.
honor about that time.
Yeah.
It's usually within the fall sports start within the first 2 weeks.
Correct, yeah.
High school is in the summertime.
High school summer.
So get used to that now. High school fall sports start in August. So if you're a planner on vacation for 2 years down the road, and you know your child's
Yes.
going to be in a fall sport at the high school, you got to be there for August.
Yes. So there's an A and a B team. There's an A and a B team. So yeah, same concept. Yep. And then we also offer intramurals. So in the fall and the spring, we have basketball. And then right after winter season, after basketball wraps up, we offer volleyball. All right. And that's usually 2 to 3 times a week. As Dr. Mulaski said, we do have a late bus. The late bus is only on Tuesdays and Thursdays, all right? And that comes at 4 o'clock. So if there is a Wednesday or a Monday that whoever's overseeing that program, that's something you would just have to arrange transportation or a carpool ahead of time. All right, so our school nurse asked me to share this with you. They get a lot of questions. These are the two most common areas where they're going to get their questions, okay? One, the athletics piece, I know we stressed a lot about, that's there for a reminder. In terms of medications, okay? All medications requires an order from your physician, all right? The school nurse will not be able to administer any medications without that order. All right, that also includes any over-the-counter, so Advil, Tylenol. At no point should a student be carrying any of those items with them. Okay, the only exceptions with medication would be inhalers, EpiPens, and someone who is a diabetic. All right, those are the only exceptions. Yes. Yep. So the question was, do the EpiPens need a doctor prescription? The answer is yes. Good question. Yes. Yeah. So the delegate, so they have to be an EpiPen delegate. We have some teachers who are, our school nurse is always here, so they would notify the school nurse right away. She's quick. So yeah, they would be notified right away and they'd follow the procedures and protocols. Okay. All right, moving on.
That's something, if your child is highly allergic, I'm going to be honest, our cafeteria, they love the food in our cafeteria.
But we cannot guarantee like the cookies, right? So you have to have these conversations with, at middle school, they should know what they're allergic to and not. However, the cookies are tempting, right? And they're not, we don't know what they've been, it's not that they use peanuts or anything like that, but you just don't know what they're contaminated with. So those are conversations that you really need to have with your child just as reminders. We have a few kids, and this is why we have some space out here in the hallway also. When we know a kid's sitting at a table and someone's eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, like they move out in the hallway because they know. So there is opportunities to move your tables and things like that. But they also should just tell their friends, like, dude, I'm allergic. Please don't pack peanut butter and jelly.
All right, so actually, Dr. Pankhurst, I'm going to have you move to the next slide. So there's lots of ways to become involved, and we do really encourage our students to become connected within the community here at the nation. So there's different ways. We have our fine and performing arts. We have our art show coming up in a couple weeks as well, but that's our opportunity for our students to showcase their work and their interests, which is really nice to see some of our students really shine through those events. So you definitely come on out for that. We should have a date for that shortly. We have field trips. Our music program is actually going to Six Flags at the end of the month. Where else are we going? We have another field trip, our 8th grade field trip. We're going to Black Bear Camp. All right, that'll be right after our farewell ceremony. So we have a nice full day planned there. We have assemblies throughout the year. Those of you who are doing or who are interested in chorus, you would also be required to perform in our winter and our spring concerts as well. Okay. This we really go through with our students during the orientation, just as a snapshot of some of the events, clubs and organizations here that we have to offer here at Lawrence Middle School. House relays we're doing periodically throughout the school year. That's their opportunity to win house points. We also do that through a minute to win it. Spirit days, okay, which could look different. And our student council does a really nice job planning those. So we are very big on giving students voice and choice throughout their learning experience here at LMS. And it's really cool for them to be able to see them shine through that. We have dances, we have a picnic coming up. We do practice mindfulness every day, especially during flex time. We have a new, it's a new app that we just started implementing this year called Inner Explorer. So our flex teachers, which is a curriculum that they do in conjunction, how do I? Yeah, meditation, thank you. Sorry, my brain shuts off at this time of night.
We start the morning off as well with a mindful moment. So, everybody will sit up in their seats, they'll feel the back of the chair against their back, they get heavy in their seats, put their feet on the ground, and then we take a moment to set our intentions for the day and what that looks like, right? What is the best version of ourselves? And so usually I give them some wise words of something to concentrate on, of being grateful, being thankful for, if something has happened during the week. And then we just take a moment of stillness. And that's hard, right? Because we all want to wiggle, we all want to move, somebody's breathing too hard, that's annoying to people. So we practice that all year. And then in Flex, what they do is we've been using the app, Inner Explorer, and it takes you through meditation. And so they do that for 10 minutes and part of that, the 30 minutes of Flex each and every day. So that's a brain break for them. It's either right before lunch or right after lunch. Next year, we're hoping that we're going to be able to share that app with parents as well, and you'll be able to do it at home with them.
Yep, next slide. All right, this is another extension of different ways to become involved. We have yearbook. Yeah, yes. Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Social Club, WLMS is our announcement station, so our broadcast that Mr. Sabatellis does with our students, so we'll do that in our technology room. Okay. We have Model UN, 8th grade, they just had their Model UN, Dr. Nolasky, they just went, where did
They did awesome.
Right?
The juniors had the Model UN
Yeah.
conference or something.
And they did very well, very well. Yes. Okay. All right. So announcements, Dr. Nolasky, do you want me to do this? Or
Yeah,
you want
so
me to do this?
obviously this is our website, and so
You can see on our website, this is an old snapshot, but if you go to under quick links and also in the center news, you'll see lots of things, right? So middle school 101 presentation, we have this virtually. I will then, once tonight, and then I'll fix it up, clean it up, and I'll put it out so you can watch it again. But we also have on there the daily announcements. So we have kids that do WLMS. There'll be a little line there for announcements. And we have scrolling announcements. So when you walked into the building, you saw that TV that has scroll. You have access to all of that at home as well. And that's on the website. So you can watch the video announcements if your child's in the video announcements. A lot of it's repeat stuff, but that's okay. And then there's also just the scrolling slides that you can look at to stay up to date besides the weekly s'more, okay? And I think that's it. We will be having an orientation. There's going to be a couple of things that are going to happen. So we go to LIS. We'll be going there in June with a group of students, with the house leaders, and we do a presentation at LIS. Some things that are similar to that we went over tonight, but we talk about our expectations about behavior, we'll talk about academics, we talk about the house system, and then we talk about all the extracurriculars and co-curriculars. And they hear that from our kids. So we bring a group of 8th graders, and they do that presentation with our house leaders. Then During the summer, as I said, you can come in, we'll put out a calendar for you to sign up, and you can meet with us one-on-one, so you can get some FaceTime with us, and we can talk to you about what your concerns are, and then we can answer any questions. Those are short, they're not long. It's like parent conferences during the school year. And then we will have an orientation for all 7th graders and incoming 7th graders and any new students to the district in late August. So around August 23rd, 24th, usually the Friday before we have that orientation, that's when schedules will come out on Genesis. I'm trying not to look at Jason. If you know Mr. Dugas, he is the one that is in charge of Genesis. He turns the magic on. But once the schedules are done, then we will put those out. You'll get an email that says it's out there. The biggest thing is you're going to be excited. When they tell you that they're in the House of Draco, you're excited for them. Yay! And then when they call their 10 friends and they're not in the House of Draco, you're still excited for them. Okay? That's what you want to do. I'm coaching you now, right? Let me see the excitement, everybody. Yeah, I like it. Yay! Good job. It's going to be a fabulous 2 years. And that's how we have to think about it. It's positive. There's going to be a lot of growth. There's going to be a lot of heartache. There's going to be first crushes, first breakups, all of the things, right? There's going to be making a team, not making a team. There's going to be disappointments, but there's going to be a lot of success. And there's going to be so tremendous growth. Your kid is going to look so different from when they start here to the time that they finish. So embrace it, love it, hug it all the time, and appreciate their greatness. If you have questions, we'll take a few questions. I want to try to finish before 8. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm sure. It's always about math.
Correct. So what I mean by that is they're not necessarily receiving high school credit. So when they get to the high school, they're not starting with like 1 credit under their belt. What it does do is it changes what course they start with in 8th grade. So typically they might start with geometry. Some of our students even double up. There's a lot of flexibility in our high school program for when you might accelerate more, when you might hold it back. And high school only needs 3 years to graduate. Typically our students take 4 years, and there ends up being a lot of different pathways in math that you can take in our high school department. So in 2 years, when you see Mary and I again, you'll get to hear all about those classes. But just because a student might not take Algebra 1 in 8th grade doesn't mean they don't have an opportunity to end up in the same place as a student who does. So that's one of the messages that I think is important to hear at this presentation, knowing that we really try to get kids successful in the foundation classes. You saw the chart of all of the different data points we look at of where their strengths are, where their stumbling blocks are, so that when they do get to high school, they have that foundation and can really flourish. So we take a lot of information into consideration when placing students. And you'll get all of that in a letter in end of June, early July.
So the first week of July, you will get a math placement letter. So that'll let you know if they're in Math 7 Accelerated or they're in Math 7. Question? Yes. Yeah. So same as the elementary years.
You have parent conferences, we'll have them in the fall, we'll have the half days, you'll have an evening conference, and in the spring the same way. You sign up. Let me tell you now, there are 10-minute conferences. You do not have to give yourself space in between. You guys are all here so you can hear this, so you'll know, you'll be experts, because you're literally either in the gym or the cafeteria. You don't have to move around the building. You sit at a table and you have your 10-minute conversation. It's not the same when you go to the high school. There's parent conferences, but not as many days. Yeah, we have a house cup. It's like Harry Potter. Yes. It's points all year. You just wear your shirt that your house shirt, every kid will get a house shirt. That's what I said before. Once you start, you belong somewhere, right? You belong in a house on day one. So when you come in, you already are part of a group. And then the expectation is to be active within that group. So when there's dress-up days, you get dressed up. When there is time to be in house relays, that you may participate. That you keep your grades up. You get points for making the honor roll, for making high honor roll. You get points for bringing in food on the canned food drive. Things like that. So you find your way, and hopefully you're supporting your team, your house. And then at the end, with all of those things, like we even count if you returned your library book. But once you get all the way through, then there's a big house cup trophy, and it's very exciting. It's very exciting. Somebody had their hand up, yeah. So our thought process is they're getting writing in every course. So we have a literacy initiative. So they're going to get writing in, as you heard Sarah talk about science, right? There's claims, evidence, and reasoning. It's the same time when you're talking about, that's how you annotate, that's how you, in essence, your critical thinking, right? So you're seeing it there. You're seeing it in a DBQ, or you're writing like a historian in history class. So they're getting writing, they're just not getting that twice touch in, and there's nowhere else to put it, to be very honest, because they have to take, there's requirements that we have to offer. We created the writing class as an extra, because we knew we needed to work on those things, but we also supplement it in everything that you do. You're gonna see it in health and PE, that they're writing. Yeah, do you want to talk about that more?
So yes, it is more like creative writing that they're missing out on. Again, it has a non-fiction bent to it. We try to see that, you know, when you get older, like writing for the workplace. This is like writing for life. So we might have the kids do like a restaurant review, or as I mentioned earlier, like they're making cookbooks, so they're interviewing people and doing that kind of thing. So yes, it does have a creative bent to it, but it is nonfiction writing. Yes, so we have 42 different languages spoken here in Lawrence Township Public Schools. As I mentioned earlier, when somebody registers for for our school district, there is by law a question on your registration that says, what language do you speak at home? If it's something other than English, any language other than English, you're identified as a potential candidate for the ESL program. From that point, we take a look at the student's records of education, and we do, if it's necessary, administer a screener to determine what level of English as a second language course the student would best be served by. As they are taking English as a second language class with our amazing teacher, Miss Acuna, if they are new to learning English, they might see her twice a day, so it's really intensive instruction. We have an 82-minute period where they might see her every single day for 82 minutes. If they are a little bit further along in their proficiency, they'll only see her once a day. So it'll be based on that level. As students start to exit the English language program, they will take an ESL class and also their English class. We try to get them acclimated to the rigor and demand of the regular English classroom to give them that support and make them as successful as possible. So there are a lot of opportunities for tutoring. Actually, we did send out to our ESL students that we have a summer program. For elementary school, it's K-6. We have the Eagles program. We have Camp Eagles this year. For the middle school and the high school, we have Teen Eagles, and that's taught by Miss Acuna and one of our teachers at the high school as well. We try to provide the students with a lot of experiences that get them to read, write, speak, and listen to English over the summer instead of just, drilling them with books. We try to play games with them, do science experiments with them, and kind of get them a little bit more acclimated to the typical classroom in a, little more laid back and fun setting over the summer. Yes, they can. Actually, the sixth grade, the ESL teachers did push it out to the sixth grade students who are enrolled in the program to come over here to the middle school, high school program over the summer. We sent that out at the beginning of April, so we do have some of those responses. If your child is enrolled in ESL over there, you can talk to me later, or you can talk to the ESL teacher over there, and she'll help you out.
So for after school also, for your question, is we also have destinations after school. So we do have an academic program that you get an invite for based on your academic record. So that qualifies you for destinations. We also have destinations in the summer. We'll be sending that out. Your students may also qualify for academic support instruction. That they have instead of flex. That is their flex. Okay? Bless you. That may be an issue during chorus. So if you want them in if they qualify for ASI but you want them to take chorus, you just need to write us a note and then we will put them in chorus instead of ASI. But they're at the same time. That's just, unfortunately, that's just the way, we just don't have enough time. But after school also we have a homework club. So kids can get extra time after school. They can get the late bus for that if they want to get extra help. And we usually have 2 teachers in there after school for homework club. Yes, it's 8 o'clock. Official program is over. Don't feel shy. If you want to get up, you can go. I give you permission. If you have questions, you can stay. We'll answer a few more questions. But for those of you, the full program is done unless you want to stay for questions. Thank you so much for coming, everybody. Looking forward to meeting all of you closer. Yeah, 2 questions. Does the musical do cuts? So the musical has auditions for major parts. It does, if you want to be just in the chorus, you're not cut. They will make cuts though. No, they will make cuts though for the number that are in stage crew and possibly the art crew, because the numbers sometimes are so much. So it may be that kind of thing where if you didn't get your stuff in on time, you're out. Go ahead. This is informal now. It's okay. No, it's a straight block. So it's 1 through, we have 5 periods a day. Kids take 4. We have 5 periods. That's a little bit complicated, but so 7th grade will take a period 1, a period 2. Their period 3 is a half-hour flex, a half-hour lunch. And then they have a 4 and a 5. So they're taking 4 classes a day. No, so it's an A day and a B day. Yeah, A day and a B day. No recess. No more recess. It looks calm and collective. We eat and we talk.